What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we finally had that big update from Bungie about what they're working on for the future of Destiny 2. This includes updates that they'll be bringing throughout December, as well as January and into the future, and there is some pretty exciting stuff here, so it's going to be interesting to break it down with you guys. There's some stuff about weapons, economy in the game, some pretty good changes in my opinion, so I'm simply going to break down what they talk about, and I'll give some opinions as well. They say going forward, Destiny 2's post-launch game systems, features and updates are being designed specifically to focus on and support players who want Destiny to be their hobby. A month ago we published a list of improvements on the blog. Today we're going to revisit that list and update its status and share some of the work the team is readying for December, January and beyond. And they add, we know it's frustrating when there isn't enough of a dialogue with the development team. You have our commitment that we're going to do a better job going forward. So Bungie are saying they are, kind of pledging that they're going to improve communication, which is definitely a good thing. For private matches, they're still targeting to early 2018 and expect to have better insight into exact timing in the new year. They're also moving ranked PvP to the top of the priority list next year to support the competitive community. So they give us details about the December update. They say there are 4 key areas they're targeting for improvements in December. Some will arrive on December 5th, and additional ones will be included in a patch that will be arriving on the following week on December the 12th. They want to deepen rewards for advanced players, provide more player control over obtaining rewards, make shards useful by adding things to use them for, and provide general quality fixes wherever possible. Now they show us Uriel's gift with something pretty interesting right there, Masterwork Weapon. So increased by 10 reload speed, this weapon generates orbs on multi-kills and displays the number of enemies defeated by using it. Obviously there are going to be different varieties of this, but we can also see this on the actual kind of weapon screen right there, so enemies defeated. So on December 12th, legendary weapons will drop as or be upgraded to become Masterworks versions. Masterworks will have a few advantages over the baseline legendary weapon. You'll be able to track and display the number of kills with that weapon with the choice between the total count or the crucible only count, generate orbs for you and your allies on multi-kills, add weapon stat bonuses that are selected randomly from a small pool and are re-rollable, so that's definitely a good addition to weapons. Masterworks drop from any source of legendary weapons for characters above 250 power. Unwanted Masterworks can be dismantled into materials that upgrade an existing legendary weapon into a Masterwork. Raids and Trials of the 9 weapons will have a very high chance to be Masterworks already, and they have future plans to extend Masterworks to other gear and expose kill counts in more places. So this is a system that will come into the game on December 12th. Obviously this is a fairly brief description of exactly how it will work. We'll learn, more places that these things will be able to drop and how they'll be applied to weapons and everything like that. But I think it's definitely a good addition to weapons. It doesn't necessarily completely fix the situation with fixed roles, but I do think it is a good addition. Moving on though, they say that there will be armor ornaments coming, and these will arrive on December 5th with Season 2. They will be added to some existing armor sets for more visual customization without losing your shaders or mods. And this will be done through an iron pledge ornament that we can see on screen right there. And the ornaments will be unlocked by completing objectives specific to each set and are permanently unlocked account-wide, just like exotic weapons. So these ornaments will be applied to base pieces that you may already have collected and can be unlocked at vendors if not. In Season 2, the following sets will have ornaments unlocked in their respective activities. So Vanguard Faction Armor, Crucible Faction Armor, Trials of the 9, Iron Banner, Dead Orbit, FWC, New Monarchy, and the Eater of Worlds Raid Lair armor. So I think this, is another good addition to the game. Doesn't necessarily fix all of the problems with stats and things like that, but they are, good kind of progressions that players may want to make on these particular pieces of gear. And they definitely double down on the stuff that you can actually unlock over time for this gear. But next they show some gear right here, the Binary Phoenix Cloak actually being purchasable from Lord Shax in the Tower, which is pretty cool. And this is something that will roll out across, different types of gear. But on December 12th, faction armor and weapons will be unlocked for purchase for legendary shards and faction tokens on most faction vendors. All 5 armor slots will always be present, and weapons will rotate weekly on factions that have them. Slots will be unlocked by claiming reward engrams from the respective faction, and you will get credit for engrams that you may have already claimed since launch. Also on December 12th, Xur will have some new offerings for players collecting exotics. Every every week you'll be able to acquire one of the new fated Engrams using legendary shards that will decrypt as exotics that aren't already in your collection. A simpler 3 of coins that boosts exotic drop rates from any source for 4 hours. No obscured stacking mechanics need to be reapplied before every boss. These cost legendary shards and you can have as many as you like. So that's going to be a pretty, effective kind of farming method for exotics that you don't currently have in the game, which is going to be pretty interesting. Also on the screenshot we actually see some new exotic boots for Curse of Osiris right there. But next they talk about general investments. So on December 5th, Banshee has some upgrades on the weapon and armor mod front. For players wanting to clear some mod inventory space, rare quality mods will dismantle into gunsmith materials and have a chance to produce legendary quality mod components. For players chasing specific legendary mods, Banshee will offer a selection of specific legendary mods for direct purchase, with a selection that will rotate daily and cost legendary shards and mod components. So that's definitely, a general quality of life improvement to this mod system. But here we have a few more updates. So December 5th, for players chasing a world legendary or looking for Masterworks, Master Raoul will sell some of his rumored hoard of legendary Engrams for legendary shards. So that will also be on December 5th. On December 12th, Commander Zavala and Lord Shaxx will sell gift consumables for legendary shards that can be used during a strike or crucible match that will serve the following functions. So grant bonus rewards to everyone in the activity upon completion, and award anything from faction tokens to a round of exotics for everyone in the match. So I think that's definitely interesting. I think in a world where we have tons of gear, these kind of ways of unlocking things quicker and using the materials you have to do it would definitely be beneficial, but I do think it would work best in a place where there is a ton of stuff to actually unlock. But on December 12th, exploit safeguards on chests and resource nodes are greatly relaxed and players should encounter them less frequently. Even if they do, drop rates for tokens is only reduced to 30% instead of 0%, and Glimmer will be unaffected. And they say that they want to have a visual indicator of this in the near future, but essentially, the kind of farming lockout will be much less severe. Also, vendors will now only beckon you to hand in your reputation tokens when you're carrying enough to earn a reward engram. That's definitely good. And on December 5th, changes affecting reputation tokens will occur, so daily challenges will have reputation tokens award increased across the board. Cade's treasure chests will still offer a variety of rewards, but now guarantee a payout of destination appropriate reputation tokens. Strikes will drop a larger number of Vanguard reputation tokens, and common quality destination resource tokens will have their drop rates increased to 100% and values per token increased as well. They say to keep this balanced, reputation required per reward engram will increase for destination factions by 37% and for gunsmith by 50%, and also Leviathan raid tokens will be redeemed at Benedict immediately upon obtaining a token instead of requiring a full clear before unlocking. And they finish by saying, with the launch of Curse of Osiris and the beginning of Season 2, you can expect to see a full suite of patch notes that will document all of the changes outlined above, as well as additional gameplay and sandbox tuning changes the team is making to improve Destiny 2. We'll also soon provide a preload and launch day details for Curse of Osiris, as well as a roadmap for our Season 2 content, which includes the dawning in mid-December. So I think in terms of the additions to the game right now that we're going to get throughout December, some further stuff inside of January as well, is definitely good to hear about. These aren't kind of, massive game changers in my opinion. What I think they are very good quality of life changes to things that already exist in the game. And considering all of what we listed is what is coming inside of December, and this is on top of Curse of Osiris and then the Dawning, which they're going to reveal more about, and then, they're saying there will be further updates inside of January, I think personally this is definitely a very good step forward, and it's good that they've been transparent about what they're going to be able to achieve, and they're also kind of staggering these updates, over time in order to actually, make them achievable. I think for now, as long as this cadence of, content update and conversation continues, Destiny 2 is going to be in a much better place. Overall here we've seen, a little bit of progression kind of updates for, vendors and everything like that. I think the stats and the kind of mastery system for weapons is definitely an interesting one, and being able to roll random stats for those weapons is going to create some replayability. You know, there'll be a particular weapon that you really want that reload speed on. They haven't broken down, you know, every specific stat that you could roll yet, but, you know, learning what those are is going to be pretty interesting, and I think it's a good addition to the weapon system. It's a good addition to some randomization in, you know, the loot factor when you get those weapons. The change to Xur and the fated Engram thing is really going to help people out who are hunting a specific exotic for sure, and the ability to purchase particular pieces of gear from vendors I think is definitely going to be positive, and you have all those additional unlocks with ornaments and everything like that. Like I said, this isn't going to simply adjust and change the game, you know, over a course of just a couple of weeks, but these are pretty fantastic additions in my eyes, things that also support potential future changes as well. Of course though, you know, we're not getting random rolls back. 6v6 Crucible, a lot of these really huge things that people are talking about aren't going to happen just yet, but I think this is a really healthy set of additions to the game, you know, and they're kind of on a par potentially with other things that we've seen in DLCs previously in Destiny. But those are just my thoughts. I'm kind of cautiously optimistic. I think they're good additions. I think this conversation has to continue in the same way that Bungie have kind of set out here, and if it does, then it's going to be a good thing for the game, assuming we get more updates in January and beyond, and this kind of conversation and this cadence of content doesn't just die off again. They finished by talking about XP mechanics and the scaling system that they disabled last week. They say that they recognize the 160k XP value is far too low for many activities, and they've begun a process of collecting data and recalibrating XP earn rates to improve them as quickly as possible. XP boosts, including both consumable items and passive bonuses, like the well-rested 300 plus bonus, will always be applied after the system and never result in earning slower XP. They should be unchanged by the disabling of this system and will continue to provide their stated increase in XP gain. Expect a lot more conversation from our team as XP rewards are updated and brought back in line with player expectation. They say going forward though, we plan to continue this dialogue as openly and frequently as possible. This will be an ongoing process, but one that we are committed to. This week we'll be publishing a new episode of the Bungie podcast where we'll sound off on the current state of Destiny 2, how we think about our communication challenges, and what it takes to update a game in the wild. You'll be able to listen on both Apple and Android devices. Thank you for playing and being passionate about the Destiny 2 experience, and for working with us to look continuously to improve our game and studio communication. So there we go guys, that is the big update that we've been waiting for. Like I said, I think there are positives in there for sure. Me being someone that, you know, wants to continue to play Destiny 2, I think on top of the DLC content, these are very good additions for the game. And, you know, in the vacuum of this DLC, December and January, these are going to be, you know, positives for this game. Like I said though, this has to continue, you know, in a few months time. If we keep seeing updates like this and we get the updates in January, then, you know, I think the game is going to be in a really good spot. But that is just my opinion. I don't expect anybody to agree with me, of course, so I'd like to hear what you think down below. Do you think these are positive step forwards for Destiny, or are you still, you know, very disappointed about what we're not getting inside of, you know, December and beyond right now? If you have enjoyed the video though guys, a like is appreciated below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content, but for now, have an awesome day.